So talks have been heating up now about Marcus Stroman coming to the Yankees, and they're now classified as the favorites to land him. Okay, but that said, it can't just be him. So let's talk about it. Hey gang, hope you're all doing well. My apologies for not putting out the show IMANAGA news last night. I put it out this morning. We had a storm last night and knocked out our power, and I didn't have any way to get that video out. So even my phone died. And there was wind, the rain, wind. It's still really windy here, but it's not raining now. So, which is good. But with that said, the Chicago Cubs have agreed to a contract with Shota Imanaga, lefty ace from Japan. 2 years, $30 million guaranteed, with kickers and incentives and opt-outs and all this type of stuff that could punch it up to $80 million. So, which is a steal for the Cubs. And again, he's going to cost a fraction of what Yoshinobu Yamamoto is going to cost him. And I don't necessarily think he's a fraction of a pitcher. So with that said, the Chicago Cubs have found their replacement for Marcus Stroman. And I don't think he's going to come back to the Cubs anyway. But with that said, too, my first reaction to this stuff, I think with the Yankees being the favorites, is, number one, it can't be the only one. Okay, number two, there's only one pitcher that if you put him next to Cole for 1-2 in a rotation in a postseason of any round would scare opponents, and that's Corbin Burns. It's not Dylan Cease. Cease is good. He's thrown 2 innings plus, 30 plus strikes. He doesn't scare me the way that Corbin Burns does. So Cole Burns would be a ridiculous duo in the postseason. So I hope that the Yankees can make him an offer he can't refuse. And I hope that the Brewers make him available. They need infielders. The Yankees have a lot of them. And in all honesty, he's the only pitcher I would consider moving Chase Hampton for in a trade. Okay, yes, I would like controllable years. So if there's any way you can pry Devin Williams too, the Yankees need a reliever, then you try to do that. You'd have to add to it. But that's the only pitcher, in my opinion, I would trade Chase Hampton for. I wouldn't move him for Jesus Luzardo. I wouldn't move him for Edward Cabrera. I wouldn't move him for Dylan Cease. So, but we don't know that that's going to happen just yet. So the focus of the day right now is Marcus Stroman. And there's going to be a lot more news, by the way, when it comes to Marcus Stroman. We have a lot of stuff going on. The ARB numbers are coming Friday, so we'll have a lot more information coming. But in the meantime, I'll keep putting stuff out. If I have anything in the meeting that comes in the near future before Friday, make sure that you're subbed to the channel so you don't miss any of it, okay? And hit that notification button. That way when it does come in, if it does come in, you're in the front of the line. And I thank you for it. So I want to make sure that you get everything, Yankees and non-Yankees. So back to Marcus Stroman. Now, last 3 years, Dylan Cease has thrown 200-plus innings the last 3 years, right? Stroman has thrown 179, 138, 136. And last year he had some blister problem and some hip injury. But apparently he's healthy. But he's also a very outspoken player, and he's gotten himself in the hot water with Yankee fans, and he's blocked Yankee fans and Yankee content creators. He hasn't blocked me, but again, I don't go attacking people on social media. So with that said, too, he represents potential innings eater, but there's a couple ways of looking at it. Okay, if you get him, you still have to make another addition, in my opinion. They need 2 innings eaters. Okay, and he's averaging about 150, 160 innings. That's not necessarily 180 to 200. So you need somebody who complement him accordingly, right? If you were to get him, I would still encourage the Yankees to trade for another starter on the cheap. Now, if they go for the Marlins, Edward Cabrera is the only guy I would consider trading for, but he wouldn't be the innings eater. Represent an innings eater for the Yankees. So he's up to about 100 innings. So he's still developing. So, which strengthens the need for middle relief, which is why I keep talking about Nestor Cortes and Luis Hill, potentially middle relief, to offset guys like this, to complement guys like this, right? On the flip side, okay, if you could trade for an innings eater on the cheap from the Mariners, you could do that. The Mariners need infield help. They need relievers. The Yankees have both, and they could trade for, let's just say, a Bryce Miller, who's got 5 years of control left, and he's already throwing innings. Marcus Stroman at higher level. So that's more representative of the type of innings that the Yankees need. They've traded away innings eaters in the near future. In the near past. So, and I'm throwing for Juan Soto, Trent Grisham, for Alex Verdugo. So, and they've lost a couple, Domingo Germán and Luis Severino. So they're down several pitchers, which is why 2 starting pitchers would be a good idea. So on the one hand, if Stroman represents the innings eater guy, it strengthens the need for long relief. Okay, if he's the complementary piece, which I think he should be, okay, it's a little bit more of an easier transition for him. And again, he's coming to New York, right? So outspoken or not, no matter what he does, he's going to be amplified. Whatever he does and says is going to be amplified by 1,000,000%. So this is the microscope. This comes with the territory in New York. That has to be accepted, right? He's got to accept it. Yankee fans got to accept it if he comes here, and so on and so forth. So they don't need to like it, but got to accept it. So with that said, also, a cheap, controllable starting pitcher to go along with Marcus Stroman, because the bottom line is it's going to cost about probably $20 to $25 million a year for Marcus Stroman, potentially on a 2-year deal. Now, when you compare that to Jordan Montgomery, who's likely headed to Texas once this TV deal is resolved, or Blake Snell, which is the high-name guy, but both of those guys are going to require probably 6 years minimum. Okay, Stroman would be a similar price on an annual basis, more closer to Montgomery, less than Snell, but he would only require probably a 2-year deal. So that has to be factored in too, which gives time to some of these Yankee pitchers like Will Warren and some other ones to develop more and then replace him in a couple years. So he leaves room for that. Okay, but if he does in any way interrupt their momentum and try to re-sign Juan Soto, I don't want him. Okay, but if I had to choose between him and Trevor Bauer, I would go Marcus Stroman. Okay, so I'll just make that clear right now. But again, who are the other people we're thinking about? We're hearing a lot about Cease. We're hearing a lot about Montgomery. We're hearing a lot about Blake Snell, right? We're not hearing much about Corbin Burns yet, because it sounds as if they feel like they're in a position to contend. But they've already fractured the relationship with Corbin Burns. He's already said he's not going to re-sign with them. So if there's any time for the Yankees to strike, for Brian Cashman to strike, it's now. Okay, they still have 5 weeks left, so maybe they're waiting for the prices to come down like the rest of the GMs are. But he would be priority number 1 for me, Corbin Burns. Okay, yes, he'd be expensive next year. Once his free agency starts, he's an arbitration player this year, so he would cost probably about $16 million a year or something like that. And if you add him and Marcus Stroman, that's about $36 million a year. That's the price of 1 Garrett Cole. Okay, so that's a little bit more than Blake Snell, and you get 2 of these guys for a hell of a lot less than you pay for Yoshinobu Yamamoto. So, there's a lot of different ways you can look at it. But the fact is, Marcus Stroman could help the Yankees. Yes. Again, I think he would help the most as a complimentary ad, not the main guy. Because I do think they want to bring in another stable arm, stable character, right? And that does matter. It really, really does. So, but you let me know what you think about this. Again, I'm more, and I wrote some of this stuff down because I'm looking at my notes here. I want to make sure that I'm making my points. I'm more okay with Stroman being the signing. Okay, it makes more sense because he would represent an innings eater that they need. But like I said, I'll say it again, he cannot be the innings eater. He cannot be the main guy there. He can't be. Absolutely can't be. So I do expect them to more likely trade for a starting pitcher. And we narrow it down now that we're looking at Cabrera's numbers and stats a little bit more closely, it makes more sense for them to trade for a Mariners start because their innings are already a little bit more advanced than Cabrera's is. But if they trade for Cabrera on the cheap, he's got 5 years of control. I'm fine with that too, especially since they already have Luis Hill and Nestor Cortes and other guys they can throw in long relief. Because, and again, I am not of the opinion that Cortes is going to be in the rotation, meaning we'd have to move Schmidt to long relief or trade Schmidt. I am not of that opinion. Okay, Schmidt's already shown the ability to throw innings. Cortes did it, and then he got hurt. So I'm more confident of Schmidt's ability to stay in a rotation, which is one reason I keep pushing Nestor Cortes as a long relief candidate. Because I think it would be easier to keep him healthy. I said this again, I'll say it multiple times. I would rather take a full year of Cortez healthy and long relief than half a year of a healthy Cortez in a rotation with an injured Cortez for the rest of the year. So I am not about that. So give me your thoughts about this. This is, look at all the different angles. Where would Stroman be a fit? Okay, and again, like if you compare him against Trevor Bauer, he's more of a fit to me. Okay. But like I said, if I compare him against every other pitcher, he's got to be the secondary piece that they bring in. Okay. I do think he'll make them better. But who strikes fear the most when you put him next to Cole in the playoff rotation? To me, it's Corbin Burnes. And again, if the asking price moves off of Spencer Jones for Dylan Cease, Spencer Jones grades out of the 9 on the speed and power scale. That's as high as it gets. Okay. I'm not moving Spencer Jones for 2 years of Dylan Cease. Sorry. I'm not. I'm not even moving him for 1 year of Corbin Burnes. So that's not to say that Cease isn't good. He's good. He averages 30 games a year, 200 innings plus, and 200 strikeouts. That's nothing to be scoffed at. Okay? That's quality. But Spencer Jones is our hands-down number 1 prospect. And there's a reason why the Orioles didn't give Jackson Holliday for Dylan Cease. They could still put forth a better package, yes, and they likely will. So, which is why if this Stroman thing does happen for the Yankees, they really, really, really please, I really hope that they pivot to the Marlins or the Mariners, more likely the Mariners, and get a complimentary starter here to help fill out the rest of the rotation. Okay, I can still see them moving some relievers. We've talked about this numerous times. And again, the Mariners need infielders and relievers. We've got depth in both, so they represent the best fit. The Marlins don't need relievers. They need infielders, not relievers. We can give both to the Mariners. So who are you going to trade with, gang? And let me know what your thoughts. Would you go for Marcus Stroman? When would you go for Marcus Stroman? Why would you go for Marcus Stroman? Who would you want ahead of him? Okay, would you be pissed if he's the guy, the only guy that they bring in? I don't think that he will be, but would you be pissed? I would be very disappointed if that was the case. Let's talk about it. See you later.